right. Well, today Mickey and I are talking about Enneagram 6. Mickey, what does Enneagram 6 lead with? What are some of the traits of Enneagram 6?
Yeah, so our sixes, they're often known as the loyal skeptic or the
Mm-hmm.
loyalist or the questioner. And, they are really motivated to seek safety by
Mm-hmm.
preparing for possible harm and challenges. So, um, they're experts in anticipating harm. I say, like, if there's going to be an apocalypse, it's really important to have a six on your team
Yes.
because they will have all of the gear ready for the
Yeah.
apocalypse. They're like the archetype could be the mama with the big purse, right? Like has everything you
Yes.
could possibly need in it. You need a Band-Aid, they got it. You need
Totally.
hand sanitizer, they got it. Um, and, you know, they are usually experts in worst case scenario thinking,
Yes.
and their attention is focused on those potential threats. I have a dear sister who is a six, and she was a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
She, to this day, if she is in a room, she's going to sit with her with a line of sight to the door, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not about to catch her off guard.
Mm-hmm.
And so, they're vigilant, scanning,
Yeah.
doubting.
Mm-hmm.
So doubting of themselves and of others.
Mm-hmm.
And they really have this core strategy of either confronting the thing that they're afraid of or hiding from it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they're really highly skilled thinkers. So it's not like they're just afraid.
Yeah.
They are thinking through what
Yeah.
could happen.
Yeah.
And they're really sensitive to like double meanings or messages.
Hmm.
And they share with the eights kind of this preoccupation with power and authority.
Yeah. Talk about that.
Yeah, because again, they're scanning for danger, for what could go
Mm-hmm.
wrong. So they want to know who's in control or who's in
Mm-hmm.
power, and
Yeah.
are you preparing, right? Or do I
Yeah.
need to prepare extra because you aren't actually prepared?
So I heard
You know?
this data point that Enneagram sixes, though, are also more likely to fall in line with and it doesn't necessarily have to be right wing or left wing, but they tend to fall in line with more, I don't know, fascist regime. Like
Mm,
they're more likely to be Trump fans, or they're more likely to
yeah.
be very into Antifa, like that they tend to be once they let that skepticism down, they're more, I guess, susceptible
Yeah. Well,
to.
yeah. I mean, I think that probably comes from the loyalist part of them,
Yes,
right?
right.
Like they are going to once they're entrenched in a position, they're going to double
Yes,
down.
yes. Which
And
was surprising
so
to me.
yeah. Yeah. Because it's about that, like, knowing what you know.
Yeah.
They've got to
Yes.
actually know that they know that they know.
Yeah.
And somehow start to soothe that
Mm-hmm.
constant skepticism or hypervigilance. Um, so yeah, they can have difficulty with authority, but this is also where we can get some mistyping, right? Because sixes will be hyper loyal, and so they will like rush in and like, if they're that kind of six, they're gonna like, what are you trying to do, right? If their
Mm-hmm.
authority figure is questioned,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So they will stand up and defend
Yes.
this belief or this authority
Mm-hmm.
figure in their life, or the thing they think to be right. And so people will mistype them as eights because they will
Yeah.
see the aggression that comes out in a six that's hyper loyal and then hyper vigilant about
Yeah.
anybody who's trying to take down
Yes.
the person or the
Mm-hmm.
the movement that they're loyal to.
Yes. Yeah. What does an Enneagram 6 really living in health look like?
Well, sixes are pretty great in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they are prepared.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
um,
Great
you
trip
know,
planners.
right, exactly. They ask really great questions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, because they're trying to scan for danger and everything that can go wrong, they're very thorough in what they're going to ask for. And I learned this from one of my panels, is that instead of just like one internal critic, like type ones really struggle with, or have, is that sixes sometimes describe their kind of inner voice as like a panel of folks, or a committee, right? And so it's like, oh, but did you think about that? Oh, what about this? Did you ask them about that? And so, but it's not always bad. It's like, it's not always bad and focused on them. It's just like, have we looked at everything, everybody?
Yes.
Like, it's a group voice. And so there's a lot of internal conversation going on with a six. And so when they bring that to, work or a family, and they're able to help us all slow down a little bit. And ask some more questions, and have some healthy doubt and skepticism, right? Because we don't just want to take things at face value. Right. We don't just want to, trust that the government's going to take care of us, or, a funny thing that I know a six does is like, they always ask for extra, a friend of mine always asks for extra salt on their fries, so they have to make the fries new, right? Which is like, it's like, it's that person's way of making sure the food is fresh. But it's like, it's not a neuroses. It's not that like that important, but it's like, they are not going to let themselves or the people they love be fed, like day old French fries.
They know where the exits are in the room.
Right. So it's like, when you have that ability to sort through, when somebody might not be good for you or whatever, sixes are really tuned into that. They're very kind of sensitive to those potential threats, or what might not quite be fully thought out in a situation. And so they're going to be able to help the rest of us think through that kind of thing.
And so what does self-care look like for someone who's wired to maybe be a little hypervigilant, a little anxious?
Yeah. Well, I think, some sixes are prone to worry and procrastination, and really kind of actively bracing themselves for things. And so, you can get lost in that vortex of procrastination, or preparation, right? Somebody that's just continually preparing for the thing and never actually does it. So I think that for a six, self-care can look like doing things without preparation. Like
spontaneity.
Right. I'm just going to go do the thing because I want to do the thing. I'm going to go to a climbing gym for the first time this weekend, and I didn't do any research. I just, if my friend goes here, and I'm going to go with them, or whatever. So, being okay with showing up unprepared, or, but that kind of, or, I don't know. I'm trying to frame that in a way that's self-care, but it's like, trusting, finding practices that help you trust in the universe, your community, whatever, to hold you in that space. And so that'll look different for everybody, but like, how do you find some ways to just kind of almost like I have this image of a trust fall in my mind, right? Like, how can you do some trust falls with people you know or love, or with yourself? Nothing big. I'm not saying like buy a house without seeing it, but just practicing trust falls in like emotional, spiritual ways.
Yeah, that's really good. And how do we best love our six friends?
I think, again, I want to pass on some of the wisdom from this six panel, is they said it was really important for them that we don't downplay their anxiety.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
I mean, in a lot of ways, the world is a scary and
Yeah.
dangerous place.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a real deep internal sense of that.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we honor that without feeding their hypervigilance, right? I mean, we don't want
Yes.
to like
Right.
make it
Enable.
worse.
Right.
Right. But we shouldn't be dismissive of anyone.
Right.
But, you know, for other types, you can come to trust or faith more easily,
Mm-hmm.
really honoring the sacredness of a six's faith, a six's
Yeah.
trust, and doing what we can
Mm-hmm.
to be worthy of that trust and of that faith.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's really good. All right. Well, next we're going to hear from someone who's an Enneagram 6.